What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Next Gen NYC. This is Season 1, Episode 3, and the episode is titled Daddy Issues and Poolside Tissues. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So, first things first, we have got to stop starting every episode with Ariana exploring New York City. Like, we get it. She's new to the city, but we're tired. Besides that, we have Georgia. She says that she's throwing some type of event. And Charlie, he does not want Ariana there. But Georgia says she's going to invite her anyways, because she ain't got no issue with this girl. So besides that, we see Brooks. He's giving Ava all the information about what happened the night before and how Charlie was acting towards Ariana and her boyfriend. And let's be honest, Charlie was acting up. Charlie clearly has a vendetta against all the other castmates that come from the Housewives family franchise. I'm just like, dude, get over it. Because let's be honest, without them here, we don't know you. And we're not going to act like we were ever going to fall in love with who you are. Let's not act like that was what was going to happen. Nonetheless, Ava, she ends up going over there to see Charlie and Dylan, and Charlie basically says that, maybe I do need to stop fucking with Brooke, because at this point, Brooks is getting mad. And it's like, why does it take you 45 years later to realize that you need to be a better friend? And even then, I don't think that he's ever going to be a better friend to Brooke. I don't think that Charlie is a friend to anybody, if we want to be completely honest. Then when it comes to the Ariana situation, that man is not trying to take any type of accountability for how he treated her. Dude, you literally asked her boyfriend if he wanted to go fight. That was wild. That was wild to even go to that extent. But moving on, y'all, we see Brooks. He is playing golf with his dad. When I tell you, baby, I do not watch Salt Lake City, but his dad must be a lot on that show, because he's doing a whole lot over here. Now, it is very clear that this man wants to pry all into his son's personal dating life. And I'm just like, sir, you don't need to know nothing about this man's body count. Brooks is grown now. Cut it out. He's asking all these random questions. But we do learn that Brooks is actually in a relationship. It's long distance, but he got his man, okay? Now, Brooks decides to tell his dad about Chloe and Charlie. Sir, I need you to stop telling people about this situation. We don't even see Chloe on here like this. So if Chloe ain't heard about it, then why are you? I really want Brooks to move on from it. So here we go with Brooks' dad trying to make excuses for Charlie, though. He's basically saying, well, he didn't have a dad growing up really like that. And that still does not give him the right to say those types of things about your daughter. But whatever. At this point, I realize that this man just wants to be seen. Seth just wants to be seen on the camera. Okay? Because now he's saying he want to have a conversation with Charlie. Sir, about what? Because when we got to that conversation, you know what? We gonna get there. So, moving on from there, we see Teresa and Gia. They are talking about how Teresa went and got a wax. Girl, we do not care. We do not care about you and the wax that you had on your old ass body. However, Gia tells her mom that she's going to be hosting a party at the house. And it's going to be a pool party. It's going to be real nice. They're going to be making pizzas. And, she got this whole thing planned out. Good for her. Charlie meets up with his mother, y'all, and her boyfriend. So basically, Charlie explains that his mom gave his dad custody when he was a preteen. To me, it sounds like Charlie was the type of kid who would try to play his parents against each other. And also, when it comes to his mother giving him away to his dad, I feel like there's definitely a lot of women who have done this over the years. When their kid becomes a certain age, like that preteen, teenage, they give them to their dad because they feel like maybe a man can handle the situation better. Charlie gives me he was hell on wheels. Okay? Charlie gives me he was a little asshole. He was a little fuck up. You cannot tell me that Charlie was the best kid. You just can't tell me that. And like I just mentioned, I think that Charlie was the type of kid that because the parents were divorced, he would try to play them against each other, because he talked about how he would like have an issue with his dad, right? And let's say his dad may have told him not to do something or something like that. He would then go call his mama on the phone and tell his side, and the mom will probably still agree with the adult in the situation. Like, I'm not trying to be like so one-sided in this, but I just really feel like sometimes, I know that right now we are doing this whole the kids are right about everything, and I don't know how the fuck we got there, but the kids are not always right. In some situations, these kids was wrong. And it sounds like his mother, it wasn't a situation of her only taking the dad's side. The dad probably had the most sense in the situation. It probably was more logical, and she agreed with that. So because she did that, because she agreed with his dad on some stuff, he felt some type of way about his mama. Y'all, I'm not about to play this game with Charlie. I'm not. So, his mom was talking about how she dated Basquiat. Who asked her that? Like, were you just trying to say that because of who Basquiat is? Like, okay, girl, moving on. Then out of nowhere, here comes her boyfriend trying to tell us all about her dating history. Like, sir, we do not care. I'm sorry, we barely give a fuck about Charlie. If we want to be honest, why are you telling us this? Because it's none of our business. So, Charlie basically says that his dad is still being a dick. No, your dad is disappointed because you ain't done shit with your life. I need for Charlie to take accountability. I'm sorry. This whole my dad wasn't there for me. Listen, your dad was there for you in the capacity that he was there for you, okay? Because the same way you over here giving him heat because he wasn't emotionally there, your mama dipped out for a solid 8 years or so. Okay? So you can forgive him as well. My whole thing is, I think that Charlie's father comes from a background of, okay, my job is to provide for my kids, protect my kids, and I gotta go out here and I gotta make this money, right? Now, I'm pretty sure Charlie was in the best schools, the best programs, all the things. Okay? Now, did his dad probably spend quality time with him? No, not necessarily, but hell, it don't sound like his mama did either. Okay? But also at the same time, I feel like a lot of people, when they come from that type of background, they decide to say, listen, if I'm providing you with all of this, there's no way that you can tell me that you are a fuck up. Like, what are you doing that you're not becoming somebody? And I think that is the real issue that Charlie's dad has with him at this point. Because you can already tell that Charlie was probably wilding out when he was younger. Okay? All right, fine. He's going to grow out of that, right? He's going to grow out of that stage. It sounds like Charlie never grew out of it. Charlie has been literally coasting in life. Daddy is still providing his lifestyle. That man gets $10,000 a month. $10,000. And he over here playing in crypto. While we learned that man has a bachelor's degree and a fucking master's. You have a master's degree and you're playing around losing money in crypto. Are you okay? But all you want to do is really go party and drink with your friends. Y'all, I'm sorry. I just don't feel bad for Charlie. Like, your parents have given you all the financials for you to fix your shit and get it together. Okay? Like, it's crazy to me that Charlie sat up there saying how, he feels like he wished that he would be further along in his career path. And then goes on and on about his dad just wasn't emotionally supportive for him. And here comes the mom. The mom actually defends the dad. And she's like, well, he's the reason why you even have this lifestyle that you're living. It is very clear that Charlie is viewing things one way And his parents is like, no. You could have absolutely done something with your life, but you chose not to. But I think that's what happens with a lot of rich kids. They sit up here and whine and cry because they're like, mommy and daddy, they weren't around for me. Let me tell you something. If you have a parent that works any type of 9 to 5, they're not going to be around for you. Not like that. Not that they can come to your beck and call all the time. Because I'm sorry, we live in America and people's careers and jobs take precedent over you actually having children. I'm sorry, but that's just how we live, unfortunately. So when y'all want to sit up here and be like, oh my gosh, my parent didn't support me. Listen, they tried to put you in every program. They tried to put you in every activity that they could, okay? Because they knew that they were not able to be there with you, holding your hand 24/7. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all may not agree with that, and that is okay with me. But I just feel like Charlie is really, like, taking this a little too far for me. Because also in this same setting, he's like, oh, well, you know what? Let me not try to, like, talk too bad about my dad because I don't want him to, like, cut me off. Sir, get up out of here. You're lazy. Also, did y'all see that mama brought some photos that he had, like, drew when he was a child? And it was literally his dad being killed. See what I mean? Charlie has been deranged for years. I'm just saying. But y'all, let me go ahead and move on because then we see Shy. We learn that he likes to sew and he's teaching Brooks how to sew. I'm like, okay, cool. So Brooks says that at some point he premiered a clothing line, but baby, it was only one tracksuit. One tracksuit. Baby, that was giving She by Sheree. Like, y'all remember when She by Sheree first started and they just had those drawings and they didn't even have no fashions at the show? I said, baby, that one tracksuit. So Riley ends up showing up and these kids are talking about how they are still on their parents' phone bill, right? And I'm like, well, shit, y'all under the age of 26. Y'all still on their health insurance too. But moving on from there. Okay, so we got a little background info on this whole Georgia throwing this event, right? So Georgia threw an event. It seems like it must have been boring because we didn't even see footage of it for real. But while they were there, Georgia, she got upset with Charlie because basically Charlie had met up, I think with Shy or with Dylan, and they met some girls and kind of like skedaddled off, basically leaving her and Riley to the side. I'm like, okay, again, at least if you're going to pull some girls for the night, at least communicate with your homegirls. Like, come on. Y'all, we're going to move on from that because we're going to put a pin in that. Why is Brooks' daddy reaching out to Charlie? I'm like, this is weird now. Like, it's bad enough we got Brooks whining and crying because of Chloe. Now, keep in mind, Charlie is dead ass wrong about Chloe. But why is your daddy getting involved? Like, of all the times that we have heard about this situation with Chloe, my issue is we have not heard from Chloe. Where is Chloe at? We ain't seen Chloe. So next thing you know, basically Brooks' dad calls Charlie for a meetup. Y'all, they met up. And again, I don't understand why we're getting these random scenes, but whatever. When I tell y'all, Brooks' daddy ain't made shit better, it made nothing better for me because it was giving awkward vibes and it made me question, does he want Charlie? First of all, when it came to the Chloe situation, basically, here come Brooks' daddy saying, yeah, I heard about what you said about my daughter, but I probably would have said the same thing. I'm sorry, what? So you're not going to be like, yo, if you like my daughter, like her, but you don't have to say anything that's like out of pocket. You know what I mean? No type of checking at all. That's the first thing, right? Second thing, they talk about Charlie and what he does and all this crap. Who cares? My thing is, why in the hell did Charlie think that it was okay for him to out Dylan? That's my question. He outed his roommate because basically they were talking about like body counts or something like that, and Charlie's like, well, my roommate Dylan, he's bisexual. No, I think he said he was pansexual. And I'm just like, but Dylan didn't tell us that. Why are you telling us that? Why do you feel comfortable enough to tell not only Seth this, why are you telling Brooke's daddy this, but also why are you telling the public? And I don't know if that's something that's publicly known about him, but I would have preferred it coming from his mouth, not from Charlie. And I'm like, again, here we go. Charlie is nobody's friend. Moving on from that, y'all, we got Gia. She over trying to get the house ready. I said, baby, she was moving that a little swifter, okay? She was trying to get that floor clean. So we're about to go to Gia's house, right? So everybody meets up to get on the party bus so that way they can go to Jersey. Y'all, why Ariana bring the dogs? I said, what the fuck going on? I said, Riley, where your dog at? Because I know you got one. Like, you couldn't just put them in a daycare for the day? No? Okay. So the group, they're talking about how Charlie ditched Riley and Georgia at the club or whatever. Baby, when I tell y'all this scene right here pissed me off, it pissed me off. Because Charlie is talking about how Riley was mad at the girls that he was talking to. And y'all, they play the footage back. She literally just introduced herself. Was very nice. But that's the thing. Riley is really a nice girl. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have no attitude, no nothing. And even Georgia chimes in and she's like, yeah, those girls didn't introduce themselves. Like, the whole night was awkward. What it was given is that they were all sitting in the same section and the girls were probably talking to Charlie and whoever else, but completely ignoring Riley and Georgia. That's fine. But at bare minimum, you can definitely introduce yourself. Come on now. Especially when Riley was trying to introduce herself to be like, girl, ain't none of these men my man. So I'm not even thinking of them like that. I'm just a homegirl. Y'all, when I tell you Charlie pissed me off because he was saying like, oh, well, you were kind of giving them an attitude, and he tried to do like the whole like neck roll, finger twisting motion that they love to give like the sassy black women. And I'm just like, wait, Riley did none of those things. Like, the way Charlie was trying to play on Riley's top was pissing me off so bad. Y'all, it got to the point where Riley was, trying to explain herself, but she ends up getting teary-eyed, y'all. And I'm just like, oh, God, not Riley. And we all know when Candy gets upset, she cries. So the fact that Riley does it as well, I felt even worse. Because I'm like, damn, she don't deserve that. So she has to explain to them, like, me being, a black woman, everything that I do should not be taken as I'm scary or like I'm scaring these white women or, I'm bullying anybody. Because she's not. She's really a sweetheart. And what's crazy, though, is that she even brings up how Georgia at one point said that Riley did something that was scary towards her. And then Georgia tried to correct it and be like, yeah, because when you were talking to me, you were talking really calm. How is her talking calm scary? Like, that pissed me off so bad. And Charlie's like, well, it's not even relevant that these girls are white, or it's not even relevant. He just kept trying to dismiss everything Riley was saying, y'all. And it was pissing me off. Like, especially when he did that finger waving thing. I'm like, what are you doing? And Riley checked him and was like, when have you ever seen me do that? I don't do that. So, like, don't even try to play me out. Like, he was trying to make it seem like Riley was overreacting, and it was not giving any of that. What pissed me off, though, for real, is that I hate that Riley is the only black girl. Riley is the only black girl. I don't care that Ava is half black. Because at the end of the day, Ava does not operate as a black woman. She doesn't. She operates as a mixed woman, yes. But that girl does not operate as a black woman. The only thing black about her is her daddy. That's the only thing that's black. Now, I will give it up for Ava. She did, stick up for Riley, saying, like, listen, you can't say how she should feel about these types of things. But for me, it still wasn't enough. Brooks, I need you to open up your fucking mouth. Because let me tell you something. Riley was 10 toes down for you when you were whining about your sister. So why aren't you sticking up for her right now? But you just sat there on the bus with your fucking mouth closed. Pissing me off. Now, moving on from there, y'all, Charlie, he basically says that, Riley, you were trying to confront those girls, but the way he was doing it, y'all, I'm telling you, it was pissing me off. And Riley was just like, no, I'm just introducing myself and using manners, something that they did not do. And she brought up the fact that, she's a black girl. She's taller than a lot of other people. Like, that does not make her scary. And what pissed me off was when Charlie was like, well, you were just being so mean to these little girls. Then he called those white girls little girls. And I'm like, little girls? If your old ass is 29, then why are you checking out anybody that you would consider a little girl? Like, no thank you. So Charlie, he's still not getting the fact that these are microaggressions. And at this point, I'm like, this shit ain't even micro. No, this is pure de-aggression. And honestly, he don't give a damn. Then we have Ava having to coach him on how he needs to apologize. He says, like, he don't want no issue, but we all know that was some bullshit. So then they get to Gia's house. I can't lie, y'all, the setup was real cute. And this is the kicker for me in this whole episode. I did not realize that not only did Ariana and Hudson bring the dogs, baby, they brought the fucking laundry. I said, baby, talk about two motherfuckers that's going to make the best of this goddamn trip. I said, oh my God. They got their laundry done. They had to go to the wash house. And they went on ahead and got the dogs some activities to do. Okay. So we do see Riley call her mama Candy about the situation with Charlie. And y'all, even Candy voice started to crack a little bit. But I absolutely love the way Candy talks to her daughter. It was a beautiful conversation, honestly. And how she told Riley, like, listen, you stand up for yourself. And he just going to have to learn how to deal with black women. We also see Riley talk to Charlie. And basically he apologizes. And, he's like, I didn't mean for you to feel any type of way. So basically she tells him that, if I say something has a racial undertone, believe that it's something real. Like, I'm not just making stuff up and it's not cool. So they make up for the moment. So moving on, y'all, again, Ariana and Hudson, I love them as a couple. The fact that girl kind of scooped her body down a little bit, it was like, hey, can you see if my tampon string is showing? And he checked it for her. I said, oh, okay, yeah, y'all can go ahead and get married. I'm liking them as a couple. So everyone, they just hanging out, right? Teresa over there calling Gia to bother her, talking about she watching them through the cameras. Girl, leave them young people alone and find you some hobbies. So then Georgia ends up talking to Charlie, and he basically said he just said sorry just to be saying it because he don't really feel that way. And I'm just like, yeah, you don't feel that way. And honestly, whenever you say sorry, I feel like your tired ass ain't never sorry. Because you're a fucked up person. So then Georgia, I don't even know her friend name, but he ends up telling Ava, like, yo boy basically reneged on that apology, okay? He didn't really mean it. So now Ava got a problem because she's like, that's not only rude to Riley, but it's also rude to her. But here's the problem. You think that is rude to you because you thought that he was your friend and he was going to listen to you. Not because you're a black woman and that this also offends you. And that right there is the problem, sweetheart. So, moving on from there, we see Georgia. She said that she's about to leave because she got to go to a crypto event. I said, well, can you take Charlie? Take him with you, because ain't that what he do all day? So, Ava, she circles her way on over to Riley to tell her the truth about this fake apology that Charlie gave. And, of course, Riley, she feels some type of way. And I don't blame her, because it's like, again, you're playing in my face. You're playing on my top right now, and I don't have time for it. So because, I think Charlie walked up at this point. So because, again, he doesn't want to be on bad terms with Ava, he then again tucks his tail and tries to give Riley a bullshit apology. At this point, we don't want no more apologies from you. I want you to just get the fuck up out of Gia's house. That's what I want. And Ava, you should really rethink your friendship with this boy, because he ain't shit. But again, because you're so aligned with whiteness, baby, it's going to take a lot for you to see his true colors. But y'all, that was the episode. All I know is shout out to Riley because she did stand her ground. I feel like she needs to go ahead not fuck with Charlie no more. A couple people don't need to fuck with Charlie if we want to be honest. But y'all, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.